Erinyes.
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 We talk about them.
They are a devil. So, Ethan, for someone who's never heard of an Erinyes, which is probably most people, what do they look like?
So basically, when you think of a devil, you think of goat legs, horns, red or awful looking, but this is not the case for Erinyeses. They are literally fallen angels. So they literally look like angels, and they can be male or female, but most of the time they are female. And basically, they look like an angel, very beautiful. Normally they're in full plate armor, and they like to wear horned helmets. And they have a vast coloration of wings. They can have dark blood red. They can have white. They can have brown, gold, all sorts of colors.
They can, but typically it's red.
Yeah, typically it's red, yeah. And black, yes. Because these are, as I say again, fallen angels. So
they're devils.
They're devils, yeah. They are now devils. Mm-hmm. And their eye color can go between red, gold, all white, or silver.
But most of the time red.
Most of the time red.
Yep.
Because they're devils. But they're between normal size of a normal humanoid, so 5'6" to 6 foot. So they're actually pretty tall for
a
devil.
They're kind of like the image of perfection, like an angel would be, but a corrupted version. Now, if you were to just strip them of all their like devil-looking armor, they would just be an angel, they can do that to trick things. But typically, you'll see kind of a perfect being in the clothes of someone that is evil. Yes. And
don't mistaken them for succubi, because succubi have leathery wings, horns, and a tail. Erinyeses, probably go butcher that multiple times. They normally have feathered wings, no tail, and no horns. They are literally just angels.
Yep,
just
angels.
Fallen, mean angels, basically.
Yeah. So that's what they look like, and they can be the beautiful body of a woman or man. Most of the time they're depicted as women, but that's just arbitrary. They could totally be a man. Okay, but the basics of their personality is like a succubus or succubi, but less explicitly sexual. It's more that they're just beautiful, and therefore they can deceive mortals by using that beauty. But they're just that just happens to be what they are.
Yeah.
Yes, and then in terms of like how they act, they're disciplined, cunning, loyal, and ruthless.
Yeah. Also, they're just mean too. Like like when we say mean, they are angels that chose. Oh, I want to be bad now. So that's basically what they are.
That's true.
Like succubi, they were cursed to be succubi. They just chose to be fallen angels. So
Erinyes chose.
Erinyes chose the dark side, basically.
Yep.
So
very, very different.
Yeah.
They weren't corrupted by anything except themselves.
Exactly.
All right. So that's them in a basic sense. Let's talk about their stats.
Do you want me to start off, or do you want to start off?
Go ahead.
Okay. So basically, they are very scary with a CR challenge rating of 12. So, she's going to break some bones and kill some people. She's very tough. So basically, her AC is 18. It's because they wear plate armor. Yep. Very strong armor. Their hit points is 153 hit points.
On average.
On average. So it could exceed 260. Which is pretty scary.
Yeah, so just for like a humanoid, that's really high.
A commoner has 4.
And you got to get through that 18 armor class to even chip at it.
So. Oh, and they got a lot of more defenses too.
True.
This is a very defensive devil. Their speed is 30 feet, but since they have wings, they can fly for 60. Mm-hmm. So they're most of the time they'll be flying. And then we'll get to their base stats. So they have a strength of +4. Very strong.
Solid.
They're very solid. They have a dex of +3. Very solid. Constitution of +4. Solid again. A intelligence of +2. Very
less solid, but solid.
But solid, yep. They have a wisdom of +2.
Equally less
yeah.
solid, but still equally solid.
Yep. And then they have a charisma of +4.
Yes.
That's
so if you notice, all of them are plus, some of them being +4s, and the lowest being +2. This is indicative of their angelic nature, right? Angels are perfect beings. These are basically the same. Like, Erinyes are also perfect beings. They're just evil ones.
Mean ones.
Yeah,
yes.
Mean and evil ones.
I can. So after that, they have saving throws.
They do.
So this is when their dexterity gets a +7. So they're dodging all of your stuff. So don't even try it. Their constitution is a +8. So don't try to poison them. It's just not gonna work. I'm not sure why. Their wisdom is a +6. So they're going to resist all your mind spells. And don't try to, so bards out there, don't try to seduce them because they will out-seduce you with a saving throw in charisma of a +8.
True.
So they are masters of bartery and fighting.
And all of these are obviously like these are the saving throws you want to be anti-magic. So they're very anti-magic.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they're not only tough, but you can't get through that with magic because of their high saving throws.
Yeah,
so that's
exactly.
definitely so they're very defensive.
Yeah, so
like
they
you
are
said.
very scary. With their senses, they get 120 feet of true sight, which is insane.
Yeah, you ain't gonna be hiding.
No one is gonna be sneaking up on them. Even though they have a passive perception of 12, it literally does not matter. If you get in within 120 feet of them, they know where exactly you are.
Yeah, maybe you could hide like a pentagram under the rug, but you're not gonna hide yourself anywhere.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you literally have no chance against hiding from them. Their languages, pretty interestingly, they speak Infernal because, they're a devil. But they can also speak telepathy up to 120 feet away. So they can basically speak with anything. So,
true.
Yeah. So some of their abilities.
Well, hang on. Before we get to abilities, let me jump in. Passive perception is 12. Which is linked to the, I think you might have said that actually.
Yeah.
But they have some resistances. So their resistances start out with cold, which is interesting. Bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing. And so those are the basics, as long as those aren't silvered. So,
or magical.
Mm-hmm. Correct. Their immunities, complete immunities, are to fire, makes sense, and poison, which is interesting. Their condition immunity is they can't be poisoned.
So, yeah, no poison. So that their saving throw for Constitution is kind of meaningless. I mean, I guess if you're trying to stun them.
There's other things you can do with Constitution, but yeah.
Yeah, so poison's not going to work on them.
Poison will not work. And that's linked to them using poison, which we'll get into right now. Mm-hmm. Let's look at their first ability. It's called Hellish Weapons. Weapon attacks are magical. And they deal an extra 3d8 poison damage.
Yikes.
And so the reason that they do this is linked to kind of like the earlier editions where they used to like dip their weapons in poison and stuff like that.
It's kind of like a callback.
Yeah, it's a callback. So that's their first feat there. Their second one and last one is magic resistance. So not only do they have crazy saving throws against magic, but they also have advantage on saves for spells and magical effects. So you're not going to get them with magic.
So sorry, spellcasters. It's going to be a rough time for you.
Yeah, it's going to be a rough time.
Because they're immune to fire and poison. And they're also resistant to cold. So the only thing is lightning damage that really affects them.
Right. Yeah, and this is really, this defensiveness, this high HP, high armor class, all these things that give them defense.
They are tanky.
It's what gives them their high CR. The other defensive ability they have is a reaction. So every round, as a reaction, they can take the parry feat, which adds 4 armor class against a melee attack that would hit, as long as they can see the attacker and have a melee weapon in their hand. So not only are they good against magic, but if you go up to them toe-to-toe with weapons,
they're gonna beat. They're really good.
They're also really good there. Yeah. So that defensiveness is their game. Now let's look at their attacks real quick. Thankfully, for the players, their attacks are not anything insane to some extent. But let me get into it. So they have multi-attack, They can do 3 attacks.
And that's ranged or sword.
Ranged or sword.
Yeah.
But thankfully, they're somewhat simple attacks. Somewhat. First one is a longsword, and it does the basic longsword damage plus 4, plus the poison damage that its hellish weapons deals. So that's an extra 3d8. So they deal heavy damage. But for a level 12 character, that's not anything crazy. They do have longbow, and the longbow does longbow damage plus 3, the poison damage. But when you get hit with a poisoned arrow, you have to roll a Constitution save or you're poisoned, and that's actually a pretty big deal. So they deal with poison, but for level 12, they're not super damage dealers.
Yeah.
But it doesn't really matter when it's so hard to hit them. And they deal enough damage, like it's nothing to laugh at. And especially if you get poisoned, because then it's like, rip.
This ER of it's 14, correct, for the Constitution saving throw?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, so it's actually not a horrible saving throw, so Barbarian should be fine.
No, but every arrow they hit you with, you got to do it.
That's true.
So
yeah.
You might have to do it 3 times in one turn.
Yeah, that is very rough. I wonder what type of poison it is.
That's a good question.
And you're probably wondering, I can just get rid of this poison effect. No. You can't just wait it out. You can't be that guy that just sits there and waits until the poison goes away. You have to use a lesser restoration spell to get rid of the poison.
Yeah, it's not a special poison. It just, that's how being poisoned works. You can't, it doesn't go away until you get rid of it.
Yeah. Oof.
So that is an oof. And that's all their stats. Now, I should add that although that's the end of their stat block, you can give them any magical spells you want. They're complete individuals. They like magic. They would, in terms of lore, learn magic, specifically enchantment magic. And so if you want to give them a little more oomph, yeah, give them some spells, because they totally would have learned them.
Yeah, like Fireball or...
It would normally be enchantment, but yeah, you can give them Fireball if you want.
Yeah, no, that would be very scary.
True.
Yeah, so